कुंज विहारी जय राधा माधव जय कुंज विहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ जय गिरिवरधारी जय गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ जय गिरिवरधारी जय गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन जय व्रज जनरंजन यमुनातिरावनचारी जय कुंज विहारी जय राधा माधव जय कुंज विहारी जय राधा माधव जय कुंज विहारी जय राधा माधव जय कुंज विहारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे राम 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 हरे हरे जय राधा गोपीनाथ राधा गोपीनाथ राधा गोपीनाथ श्री हरे Radha Shama Sundar, 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 Jaya Radha Damodara, Radha Damodara, Radha Damodara, Radha Damodara, Radha Damodara. Radha Radha Krishna Chandra 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 Jaya Gauranika Jaya Gauranika Jaya Gauranika Jaya Jaya Gauranika, Jaya Gauranika, Jaya Gauranika, Jaya Gauranika. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Ilan Maharaj की जय, शिव भगवान की जय, शिल प्रभुपाद की जय. Hare Krishna. Welcome devotees. Today we'll be discussing of course some devotees has to join yet, but we'll continue slowly the discussion. Today we are going to discuss the 17th shloka of fourth canto. I'll just project the shloka short. 14th chapter, fourth canto, 17th shloka. Just share it. Hare. Just a minute. Give me 2 minutes. Okay, just Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskritam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tado Jayamudire Nashtaprasho Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitamena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitamena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamyam Dadati Sapadantikam Vandeham Sri Gurum Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurum Vaishnavansya Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sarvadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Paran Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakamitam Shyamu He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Krupa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण I'll read the shloka now and translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. राजन साध्व अमित्यभ्यश्च चोरदिभ्यः प्रजा नृपः रक्षान्यथा बलिं गृह्णन् इह प्रत्यच modate. Word to word translation by syllable. Rajan, O king, Asadhav, Michius, Ametebhya, from ministers, Kor Adibhya, from thews, and Chor Adibhya, from thews and rogues. Prajaha, city. Nrupaha, the king. Rakshan, protecting. Yatha, accordingly, as. Balim, taxes. Brunan, accepting. Iha, in this world. Pretya, after the. Cha, also. Modate, enjoys. Translation by Silapova. The saintly persons continued, when the king protects the citizens from the disturbances of the mischievous ministers as well as from the thieves and rocks, he can, by virtue of such a pious activities, accept taxes given by his subjects. Thus, a king can certainly enjoy himself in this world as well as in the life after death. Purport. Vasily Prabhupada. The duty of pious king is described very nicely in this verse. His first and foremost duty is to give protection to the citizens from thieves and rogues, as well as from ministers who are no better than thieves and rogues. Formerly, ministers were appointed by the king and were not elected. Consequently, if king was not very pious or strict, the minister would become thieves and rogues and exploit the innocent citizens. It is king's duty to see that there is no increase of thieves and rogues either in the government secretariat or in the departments of public affairs. If king cannot give protection to citizens from the thieves and rogues, from both in the government service and in the public affairs, he has no right to extract taxes from them. In other words, the king or government that taxes can levy from citizens only if the king or government is able to give the protection to citizens from thieves and rogues. The 12th canto of Bhagavatam, there is a description of these thieves and rogues in government service. As stated, Prajaste Bhaksheshanti Mlecha Rajanya Rupinaha. The proud Mlechas, that is, person who are less than Shudras, representing themselves as the kings, will tyrannize their subjects, and their subjects, on the other hand, will cultivate the most vicious practices. Thus, practicing evil habits and behave foolishly. Thus, practicing evil habits and behaving foolishly, the subjects will be like their rulers. The idea is that the democratic days of Kali Yuga, the general population will fall down to the standards of Shudras. As stated, Kalu Shudra Sambhava. Practically, the whole population of the world will be Shudra. The Shudra is a four-class man who is only fit to work for the three higher social castes. Being four-class men, Shudras are not very intelligent. Since the population is fallen in these democratic days, there can only elect a person in their category. But the government cannot run very well when it is run by Shudras. The second class of men, known as Kshatriyas, are especially meant for governing the country under direction of saintly persons who are supposed to be very intelligent. In other ages, in the Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, and Dwapar Yuga, the general populace was not so degraded, and the head of department were never elected. The king was the supreme executive responsibility, and if he caught any minister stealing like thieves and rogues, he would at once have them killed or dismissed from service. As it was the duty of the king to kill thieves and rogues, it was similarly his duty to immediately kill dishonest ministers in government service. By such a strict vigilance, the king could run the government very well, and the citizens would be happy to have such a king. The conclusion is that unless the king is perfectly able to give protection to the citizens from rogues and thieves, he has no right to levy taxes from the citizens for his own sense gratification. However, if he gives all protection to the citizens and levies taxes on them, he can live very happily and peacefully in this life, and at the end of his life, he be elevated to the heavenly kingdom or even to the Vaikuntha, where he will be happy in all respect. राजन साध्व अमित्यभ्यश्च चोरदिभ्यः प्रतः प्रजः नृपः रक्षम यथा बलिं गृह्णन् इह प्रेत्य च मोदते. Translation: the sentry person continued, when a king protects the citizen from the disturbances of the mischievous minister as well as from thieves and rogues, he can, by virtue of such a pious activities, accept taxes given by his subjects. Thus, a king can certainly enjoy himself in this world as well as in the life after death. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमदे जय पताका स्वामिनिति नामने नमो आचार्य पदाय निताय कृपा प्रदायिने गौरकथामदाय नगरग्रामतारिणे नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमदे भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पश्यत्य देशतारिणे नमो माधन्याय कृष्ण प्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामने गौरतिसे नमः. नमो ब्राह्मण देवाय गो ब्राह्मणिताय च जगरिताय कृष्णाय गोविंदाय नमो नमः. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौरभक्त वृंद. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे. Hare Krishna. So we'll start the discussion slowly. So here we are discussing the story of King Vena. Vena was the son of King Anga. Anga was actually coming from Dhruva Maharaj, uh, like Dhruva Maharaj family. After some generations of Dhruva Maharaj, Anga came king. King Anga was a very pious king, very nice king. Of course, Dhruva Maharaj we don't have to discuss. Dhruva Maharaj we have been discussing, and such a nice devotee and a king also. Lord personally blessed him, and he went to Vaikuntha. Right. King Anga came after some generations. He was also very good, but then the problem started when his son, that is King Vena, for which we are discussing the story now. He was devil, he was demoniac. He was not respecting the saintly persons, Brahmins. He was not respecting the Vedic culture. And he was very unjust to the citizens. He was doing a lot of atrocities on them. He was demonic. He was not believer of varnashramas or dharmas. He wanted everything for his enjoyment. Typical demonic mentality. Now, the problem here is then, if king, because those days, king will be the king. Like king will, whatever he says, citizen has to follow. So, but of course, in the modern days, we feel, oh, this king system was not that good. That's what we feel. But actually, it was very good, with some exception, of course. So, why? Because the king were saintly. They were actually Rajarshis, or Rajarushi means they are saints also. They are Rishis. They are Brahmins also by quality to major extent, and of course they are Kshatriyas by their original inclination. So kings were trained, they were guided, trained by Brahmana right from their childhood. Then during their administration also, they will always take advice from Brahmanas in all matters. Be it education, be it any conflicting priorities, be it welfare of the society, day-to-day administration, all policies making, what is right, what is wrong, morality principle. And they are all coming from Vedas. And Brahmanas were expert in delivering those messages, training the people properly, coaching them, and making them worth of Kshatriyas or whatever they are in the Varnashrama system. So, Varnashrama system is what we are actually discussing. In this, some of the shlokas also, it's a Varnashrama system which is getting discussed. Varnashrama system is Brahmana, Kshatriyas, Shudras, Vaishyas. So based on the quality, based on your inclination, based on your psyche, you were given to choose your occupational duty. It's not all about occupational duty, your job, it's all about your way of life. And Brahmanas being in the Sattva and spiritual, transcendental platform, at least in Sattva, they were uh, told, they were trained, and they were actually in charge of imparting the spiritual knowledge to the day-to-day life, in the day-to-day life to the general mass of people. What they will teach? They will not teach so-called modern materialistic science. No, they will teach the Bhagavad Gita or Vedic knowledge, all yogas, and they will make citizens they'll also they will try to make citizens saintly, at least pious. Get them acquainted with who is God, who are you. Spiritual, Athato Brahma Jigyasa, this knowledge, spiritual knowledge. Of course, they will teach them the material knowledge also, because material knowledge is required for our day-to-day interactions. Language, linguistic knowledge, martial arts, chemistry, physics, so-called nature's law, all that. It's a knowledge, it's a material science. But the purpose was to actually train every soul, citizen, in spiritual knowledge. Brahmanas will do that. Kshatriyas they will do the administration, politics. Good politics, of course. Administration, protecting managing this whole affair of the country, managing this, day-to-day, transactions and the countries, borders, taxes, managing the whole. You have to give the facilities. There has to be material progress also. To the extent that people become comfortable, to the extent that they save some time and use that time for the spiritual knowledge, cultivating the spiritual knowledge. This is a simple model they were working. It was working on such a simple thing. And they will prevent the crimes, because there will be always some criminal mentality, bad mentality people, demonic people will be there. And so they will try to exploit disturb the others. So it has to be prevented. So they will first of all prevent it by giving right education, assuring law and order in the society. And even though there is some crime happens in some corner, they will punish them properly, so that others get by example that we should not have any violence towards the other living entity. There will be always war, battles. These all history is full of all this. Modern history or even Puranic history also. Why? Because material world is like that. There will be always some demonic people trying to exploit. And we have to protect, good people have to protect themselves. So there will be war, fighting. And it will go on, but then who will do all this? The Kshatriyas is to take charge of all this and protect the innocent citizens. Vaishyas cultivate the business, cultivate the farming, cultivate the crop, grains, business, and feed the society by cultivating sufficient grains, milk, cows, animals. They'll take care of them. They'll not cut them for a flesh eating. They will grow economy, basically, economy. Because that's also required. We need material resources to live the comfortable life. And once you live the comfortable life, you can spend time in spiritual activities and continue. So that we come out of this material entanglement. So Varnashram system was designed to ultimately develop the love towards the God. It is meant for satisfying the Vishnu, satisfying the Lord. How they will satisfy the Lord? By developing the Varnashram, by following the Varnashram system. By following the Varnashram system itself, they will satisfy the Lord, because Varnashram system given by Lord to maintain the law and order in the society, to perfectly, it's a balance of material activity and the spiritual activity, so that you do your material, because we have got material desires, we keep desiring so many things, we have got so many sense enjoyment and tendencies. So to do that peacefully, so that ultimately we should understand by knowledge, develop the knowledge, that this is a material world, it's a place of misery, and ultimately my constitutional position is to serve the Lord, develop the bhakti, and go back to God. So everything needs system, even though you have got good intention. So Lord also has a good intention about us. Saintly people have got a good intention about their citizens, that they should progress spiritually. But just do good intention doesn't work. Only it's not sufficient. We need to have system also to work. That's why Lord has given the all these Vedas and system, Varnashram system, which was very scientific, so that people get chance in a systematic way, in a very balanced way, to develop the spiritual knowledge. So Shudras, people, everybody may not be of the same intelligence, skills, or the purity. So there will be some people who might not be very intelligent. So they will like to, so that they were supposed to help others in their, and then in that process, they also get purified. So Shudras, Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, they were not based on the birth. It's based on their karma or their occupational duty, mainly. And then that was ultimately based on the quality. Sattva people will be in Brahmani. Kshatriyas will be in Sattva and Rajoguna. Vaishyas will be in Brahmaguna, Rajoguna and Tamaguna, little bit, and then Shudras were in Tamaguna, like that. So this is what system was being followed. Dhruva Maharaj established that system. Anga, King Anga was following that system. Veda did not wanted to follow, because he was demonic. And one is not following. Second, he was completely against it, and he was actually creating disturbance under the name of all these taxes and all that. So in this particular shloka, there is a taxes is being discussed. So government takes taxes from us, right? Because they have to take tax. Government, how they will do good without taking tax from the citizens? Because we have to pay for what we are enjoying as in terms of facilities. So nothing wrong in paying the taxes, this shloka says. I mean, paying the taxes or accepting the taxes, provided the whole system is followed, and you are actually, after taking the taxes, you are protecting your city. So Prabhupada writes in the commentary, that one side, I mean, in Kali Yuga, it is stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam, that as the Kali Yuga progresses, the Varna Sama system will get almost broken, and the people who are Kshatriya, they'll become corrected. They were powerful, they are powerful, but they will become corrected. Now, when person is powerful and but somebody is corrupted, what happens we know. They will exploitation follows. How they will exploit, collect the taxes, but then don't give them the facility. They themselves will use it for their own personal gain, personal enjoyment, and citizens will, will be in drama. Um, then that leads to chaos, and citizens get harassed. They lack of money, because even though we pay taxes and we don't get that facilities, people will ultimately, get fed up, and they themselves will start those corrupt practices, and that's what is happening now in the modern age, especially. uh, I mean, there is so much crime, so much corruption, because it's the effect of Kali Yuga people are like that, hypocritic, and one crime leads to another crime, and then also vicious cycle, and citizens come under that vicious circle. So who can actually save them from this vicious circle? It's the Kshatriyas who can save them from the vicious circle. Save in the sense, physically, on the front foot, they are the people who are in charge of this, all this. So they will make the things right. They'll make the systems right. And in this way, protect the citizens from falling down from their duties, falling down from their moral standard, and prevent them from doing the sins. Because whatever you would do, we may justify, oh, government is not giving us the taxes, so taking the taxes, and they are also corrupted. I am also corrupted. No, whoever is corrupted, they will get their own due in terms of reactions. So then democracy is being discussed nowadays. We are a democratic country, India. Of course, democracy is good. Prabhupada writes and elsewhere. Prabhupada has written on this subject very elaborately, many places. Democracy is good because the intention of democracy is definitely good because we want freedom. But that doesn't mean under the name of democracy, all nonsense should happen. That's what it happens. Kali Yuga, this happens. That under the name of democracy, people are becoming irresponsible, corrupted, exploiters. Good, doing something good thing also is not very easy in democracy sometimes if people are not proper. So Raja and Praja, Yatha Raja, Tatha Praja. So democracy came because that's all. See, it's the Lord's material world. Things will keep happening. Democracy is not bad. Democracy is good only. But then corrupted democracy is worst. Monarchy, that was what we are discussing. Kings were there in Vedic knowledge. That was good. Because if king is good, saintly, then it's the best thing. Prabhupada writes very clearly. If king is the good, so monarchy is better than democracy. If king is very good. But problem is, if king is not, if corrupted, then it's hell. Monarchy. So everything is good as long as people are saintly. It's just matter of how you manage the whole affair under the name of democracy or monarchy. Doesn't matter. But generally, by logically also we can understand monarchy is always better if king is pious, saintly, devotee of the Lord, which is used to be there earlier. Even now also there are people. There are people who are good kings. There could be good kings, or they are in democracy also. There are good administrators, good leaders. It's not that everything is so bad or everything is so good. It's all mixed so back there. We have to. What is more important is you should follow the Varnasrama in spirit. Follow the Varnasrama, develop those qualities and help each other. Be it democracy or be it monarchy. But it is more logical if kings are controlling, single control, good people, it becomes easy, which we can feel. Democracy means even though you are good, everybody is good, but they don't allow to work each other. And this all happens. So it's all there. It's not part of this discussion anyway. It doesn't matter. In Kali Yuga, nothing works, only chanting works. So Harina. So we should continue doing that. Rest we have to leave unto Lord. And we have to keep. And we should try our best, of course. Prabhupada had that wish of implementing Varnasrama system as far as possible, although he was knowing that in Kali Yuga it's not so easy. But he was saying, I want that. And ISKCON is trying to do in many ways that. And there are, because ISKCON is promoting the creation of Brahmanical quality people by training properly, by imparting them the Bhagavad Gita knowledge, putting them into Bhakti knowledge. And there we are producing so many good Brahmanas who are actually training others. Preaching is going on. And they are also trying to become Brahmanas, or at least good people, pious people. It's not by birth. Brahman, Kshatriya, as I told, it's not by birth. It's by the quality, by our mental composure, mental psyche, how we are. If we are in Sattva-guna, good, pious person, then we are in Brahmanical qualities, like that. So we are also trying to do. So ISKCON also is trying to do. And it will go on. That's not a really subject matter anywhere. Should we follow Varnasrama? We should try to follow Varna, whatever is possible by at our individual level and collective level in our organization on ISKCON. We should definitely do it. But the matter here is the knowledge point here is basically The Varnasrama system has got broken due to impact of Kali Yuga, which is expected. And in this, Prabhupada explains in the purport that people will be literally exploiting in the Kali Yuga. This is described in Bhagavatam that Kali will come like this. And what will happen in Kali Yuga is what we are discussing. Here, kings will try to exploit the citizens by levying the taxes. In turn, they will not take care of them because they are supposed to take care of take care of the citizens by giving them the proper facilities, ensuring they are spending sufficient time on the spiritual matters so that people develop the spiritual knowledge. That's the whole purpose. Why Varnasrama? Why the monarchy? Why democracy? Why all this? Because we should live the life comfortably, have our family, society properly well structured, and somehow find out the time, develop the spiritual knowledge. And with that time, with that spiritual knowledge, slowly we will understand the science of bhakti and thus get out of this mess. But as Kali Yuga progresses, there are exploiters. That's the effect of Kali Yuga. There are exploiters. So citizens become disturbed, as I told. They will do malpractices, they will do crimes, expecting, and there will be corruption and all these things. So there is something called somebody bring this term secularism. Oh, India is a secular country, we say. But there's nothing like Prabhupada has amply cleared this. There's nothing like secularity. I mean, it's all nonsense, Prabhupada said. But Prabhupada gives the real definition of secular. Secularism means one is free to follow his own faith, individual's faith. That's fine, religion, you follow. Don't disturb others' faith. Neither, one should not think that, oh, I don't want to follow any religion, I am secular. No. So, adharmi or the irreligious doesn't mean secularism. Now, majority people say we are secular, means they want to say that we are irreligious or we don't want to follow any religion. That is dead. That is horrible. That is stupidity because without religion, there is no human being. Without religion, it's like a animal. Dharmena prashu samana. Dharmahina prashu saman means if you are not following any religion, well, let it be on a basic religion. If you are not following, then we are animal. Now, animals we can't expect the peace. So that's what is happening. So majority people by the effect of Kali Yuga becoming atheist, irreligious. They don't want to follow any system. They don't want any rules and regulations. They don't want Vedas. They don't want any religion. They just want to live whatever they want, since under the effect, under the influence of sense enjoyment. And they call themselves secular. That is not a secular. Secularism means you follow your own religion, whatever you like, provide authorized religion, of course. There are many authorized religions. Of course, Sanatan Dharma is the original and top class religion. Very. But there are other religions also. Everybody say our religion is the best. That's all fine. But at least follow some religion. That's the real crux here. The real crux is we have to follow some religion. Lord will always introduce some religion somewhere in some part of the world based on the position, based on the time and circumstances and people's ability to understand those higher principles of life. And that will continue. And that is what we should follow. Whatever we come across by destiny, we should follow those religion, this religion, and we should try to elevate ourselves to next, try to gain more and more knowledge because it's so vast knowledge. So, of course, Vedas are full with all this. All Karma Kanda, Jnana Kanda, Upasana Kanda is like one part. Second is this yoga, that yoga, all yoga. Then all material science also is there. Spiritual science, Bhakti Yoga also is there. Puranas. So, whole knowledge bank is there. The ultimate purpose of Veda is to ultimately bring one soul to the service of the Lord, become devotee of Lord. Ultimate yoga is the Bhakti Yoga. And there are many streams of philosophies, different philosophies are there. But all those are ultimately trying to make us a proper human being. And we cannot become proper human being if we don't follow any rules and regulation. So King Vena did not want to follow any religion. The so-called modern demonic, that time he also came. There used to be demons that time also. Majority people were pious or saintly, but there will be some demons. Now it's reverse, but whatever it may be. So Vena did not want to follow. He said, I don't believe into all this. No Vedas, no Varnashram system. I will do whatever I want. He was exploiting the people. And the story continues further, but then Rishis and Munis and that time saintly Brahmins people, they were there trying to convince, don't, you have to follow these. You take tax from the people, but utilize for their welfare. Why you are only, you're sort of swallowing it and using for your own enjoyment. So they are trying to convince Vena. Of course, the story tells further that he did not listen to them and ultimately he was killed by them, by the Brahmins, and they have proper devotee king later, King Prithu. But that's a story to follow. But fact here is, matter here is, we have to follow the Varnashrama system to the extent possible. In practical world, even though we are not able to follow the 100% Varnashrama system, the spirit we have to understand, we have to take a knowledge and follow the formula given by Prabhupada to us. That is actually following the Varnashrama system. Purify your life, become Brahminical, try to cultivate Brahminical qualities, chanting, reading, association of devotees, follow rules and regulations, do's and don'ts. Don't get involved into vikarmas, like that. And we can follow the Prabhupada's laid down procedure. That is the practical way to handle and get rid of this material life, material mess. So nothing prevents us in doing that. So yes, there are issues in modern Prabhupada experience in this purport. More democracy means people are just exploiting, and there is a so-called democracy which doesn't work because kings are not ideal kings. Brahmans are not ideal Brahmans, so-called. I mean, there are hardly any. There are good kings, there are good Brahmans now also. Of course, we can see, but very few. So first of all, we should follow them. We should distinguish between so-called fake and so-called real good administration. So we have so whoever supports the Sanatana Dharma, whoever supports the Vedic culture, whoever supports the Bhakti Parampara, who try to make the citizens God, God loving or God conscious, he's a right king, right administrator. Whoever doesn't support all these, he's not. That's the simple definition we should follow. Prabhupada educated us on this by his wonderful purports, how to interpret, because without that, it would have been very difficult to understand this. So at least we can understand what is right, wrong, and try to follow maximum what is right. Anyway, it's a Kali Yuga. We don't have much control on that. But we can't control everybody others. But whatever we know, we should follow in our life, our family, people. Try to preach them into society. ISKCON is doing that. Our organization is doing that under the blessings of Srila Prabhupada. So the story continues here. We will not get into details of that. So, but the matter here is basically Varnashrama system is what happens if somebody doesn't follow the Varnashrama system is also mentioned here. Things become chaos, and citizens will they will elect the king nowadays based on some votes. Votes means majority, minority. Like it's just mathematics there. But they don't know probably sometimes they will elect right person, sometimes they will not elect right person. But it continues and people get confused. The why this happens because there is no proper education, and our education system should be based on the Vedic principles, Sanatana Dharma. We have invented our own modern way of education system, which is faulty. Of course, material science is one, that is all fine. That will go on, and now that can go on. That may not be wrong. We might have developed many material comforts based on our scientific knowledge, so-called material science knowledge. That's there, but ultimately, that's not the criteria whether we are successful or not. Criteria is, are we happy as a society, as an individual? Are we developing the God conscious qualities? Are we becoming happy? Because without becoming God conscious, you cannot be happy. So both are same. So are we becoming God conscious? No. Then that's not a right system. But if you are becoming God conscious, what your system will follow? That's the right system. So nowadays, that's not, people are not understanding that what is right, what is wrong from them, for them. And they elect some leaders among them. They also behave the way they are. And they do same thing, some same problematic things which the subjects or the citizens don't want, but they will do same thing. They only elected them. They will do one same problem. This is all karmas, laws of karma, because we are not following Sanatan Dharma, and we are trying to do so many good things. We are trying to expect so many good things will happen to us. That will not. That's not going to happen. Sanatan Dharma. If you follow the Dharma perfectly, respect Dharma Rakshite Rakshita. Means whoever protects Dharma, Dharma means religion. Religion will protect them. We should first, our duty is to follow the religion, follow our Sanatan Dharma, understand what it is, take time to understand, make ourselves available to understand that. Our occupational duty will go on. Even though one is Shudra, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Brahmana, no, your our the Varnas, so-called Varnasrama position or so-called position in your society doesn't prevent us in accumulating or getting the knowledge, spiritual knowledge. It's not, there is no prevention. It's not that Shudras were not allowed to worship or Shudras were not allowed to take spiritual knowledge. No, knowledge, worship of Lord is accessible to everybody, irrespective of their status, irrespective of their purity of the, mind, and irrespective of whatever they are. Everybody can come, and that's why Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu introduced. Of course, it was there right from ages, but he made it very structured and official. Harinam Sankirtan, chanting Harinam Sankirtan. Why? Because that will bring everybody to the spiritual platform in a very simple way. And that is a Yuga Dharma. That is a Yuga Dharma of Kali Yuga. What is Yuga Dharma of Kali Yuga? Chanting the name of Lord. Lord Chaitanya brought that so that people can follow, because anyway, Varnasrama system is broken. People are under the influence of Kali Yuga. Bad elements are increasing. We don't have time, we don't have so much intelligence to understand all these resources. We don't have. What is the way? Harina. So as we keep chanting Harina, as we keep doing Harinam Sankirtan Yajna, you will be benefited. Others will be. What is that benefit? Benefit is we'll get that knowledge. We'll get that status of Varnasrama system. We'll get that knowledge of Sanatan Dharma, Vedic. Purify ourselves, and slowly we achieve what the people used to achieve in Satya Yoga, so-called Satya Yoga. So all the benefits are still available. It's up to us what we want to take. It is in a simple way. In a simple way. Chant name of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Keep chanting, keep chanting. Keep doing Sankirtan Yajna. And slowly we will purify, and that whole, it can come. Varnasrama system also it will come if we do Sankirtan Yajna. That should be our conviction. Prabhupada had that conviction. He did it, and he introduced this Bhagavad Gita and Hare Krishna Mahamantra to the Western world also. Right. We should not say Western world as if Indians are very great and all that. No, we are rejected our Sanatan Dharma. We mean not all. We are devotees, so we are not rejected. Of course, we are trying to get it, but I'm telling in general, We actually become more worse than the sometime Westerner. Prabhupada went there because he said, "Oh, Indians are not ready to listen only spiritual, which is our own heritage." So he went to Western because they wanted that place. There was more need, and he introduced into Western world people became sannyasis, people became gurus, and there is a good spread of this knowledge in Western world. And then now we also understood. Oh yeah, yeah. So we also follow. But matter is doesn't matter we are Western or Indian or it's all Kali Yuga now. It's all same practically. Everybody is on the Kshudra platform in absence of spiritual knowledge. So but the message here is we should not remain whatever is there or what can be done. Kali Yuga is there, what I can do. No, no. We can become Brahmins, we can become devotees, Vaishnavas by just chanting the name of Lord and following the basic regulatory principles. Follow the formula given by Srila Prabhupada. We can become like that. And what can be better than this? What can be simpler than this? Just chant, take prasad, and go back to garden. So that's what the message comes in every Bhagavatam page. Prabhupada brings us to this point and ultimately try to surrender to Lord, take Lord, chant Lord's name incessantly, and go back to garden. So, of course, as far as story is concerned, Vena, as I told, he was ultimately was killed by the Brahmins. They have to do that. There was no option left because it would have been chaos in the society. And they were fortunately they were a control of Brahmanas, so at least they could have grabbed him and killed him. Nowadays it doesn't happen because nowadays if you kill somebody, you will be put into jail, even though your intentions are good. And of course, that's not recommended also. That's not recommended. That's that situations are different. We should not get into all that sort of thing. But we can kill the people with respect to their wrong, evil mentality. So that's why Prabhupada explained, Lord Chaitanya, why he brought this. Kali Yuga, in Satya Yuga, Lord comes and kills the devils, demons. Like that Treta Yuga also, he comes and kills. But in Kali Yuga, he doesn't come and kill. He kills their wrong or demonic mentality. And that's what we should try to kill the people for their demonic mental, not the physical thing. Of course, that's not required. That's not going to help us. We should kill the people's bad things, kill their demonic mentality, and thus purify them and help them in coming back to order. That is a service we can do. It's not that, oh, as an individual soul, we are all fallen souls. So we can't even uplift anybody. That potency also we don't have. We got that potency from Prabhupada and Lord Chaitanya and All Guru Parampara. We get that potency. So we should utilize that potency as a service to do whatever we can with a humble attitude. Then things will be all right. So that is what our service is. Rest, let's follow Prabhupada and go. So that is what I wanted to say for today. Not many devotees today, but nevertheless, sometimes it happens working day, but it's okay. So any questions, comments from the devotee that I can see? Otherwise, we can close the session. Hare Krishna. Prabhupada ki jai. So if there are no questions or comment from the devotee, then we will close the session. Thanks for your time, and please tell your friends, family members to join Srimad Bhagavatam session at 8 o'clock online. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Hare Krishna.